Radar and Dido, A True Love by Swedish Dub. Being the daughter of Red Sparks and Discord, Radar had a very much unusually childhood when she grew up. She often played with her friends with her magic or chaotic powers. She even visited her uncle or great uncle from her great great grand uncle in Terex's homeland. She really enjoyed her time there. She got very much great friends. Even she had many cousins there. But the most she wanted to be most is to be happy. And one day when her mother was sick, she was still at her grandfather's homeland when she heard that her mother was sick. So she returned back home to see if it was serious. But unfortunately it was. Red Sparks was quite ill, and it was close enough that her mother wouldn't make it. But luckily for Twilight and Celestia and Luna, they helped us research of this disease was actually much as a great success. They managed to find a cure in a small flower that grows in the northern mountains in Equestria, just further from Crystal Empire. And thanks to her from the flowers, she was back to health again. But unfortunately from all this, even she was back to health, it took Red Sparks at least 5 months to restore to her full strength. So Radar had to look after her mother when she was ill and when she was still have recovered from the disease. And one day, when Radar was just out in the town, just looking around, talking to my friends, and just walking, she encountered a pony. But this pony was not as many others she had seen before. He was actually half a dragon and half a unicorn. But she had never seen him before, and she actually saw him with Spike and Rarity. She wonders if he was a friend up there or something else. Then she finds out from her mother that was Dido, the son of Rarity and Spike. Dido has been transferred from Dragonlands where he lived with his father for some time. And they even became good friends over time when Dido had moved back to Ponyville to be with his mother. And he explained why he was in Dragonlands with his father. In fact, he was there for a meeting with his grandparents. Spike had finally found his parents in Dragonlands, and when they found that Spike had married a pony, they were very shocked about it. But they were supportive to Spike, and when they met their grandson, he was more than happy to be their grandson. But after some time, Radar had actually started to get some feelings for Dido. But when she was going to tell him about it, she found out that he had a girlfriend by the time. And that made her very much heartbroken. Also, you could then see that Dido was with his girlfriend at the local cafe, restaurant, or the park, or through town. She could feel her heart breaking every time she saw her with Dido. She wanted to tell Dido about her feelings for him, but since then she couldn't do it. So she never expected something more to happen between her or him. And sometimes when she is at home, her mother, Red Sparks, could find her at her room crying. She often asked why her daughter is crying, and she didn't want to say anything. Honey, you can explain everything to me at all. And even Disco tried to talk to his daughter. Hey, what is you crying for? You could tell us anything you want to know. We can help you with anything you think you need, says her father. But Radar often said, no, can't. There's nothing you can do about it. Oh, has someone hurt my own daughter? No, father, it's not like that. It's can't tell. And from that moment, they tried to cheer him up, but it turns out it didn't have any much effect. All Radar wanted to do was to explain to Dido how much she really loves him, but she couldn't. So she often talks to her aunt Twilight about this. And she explained to her that love can be something mysterious ways. Even she has her strong feelings for Dido. She might still be her friend, his friend, but even he wants to be just friend. Even she told him about her feelings for Dido. It might be able, he even might just like her as a friend, or like as a brother, nothing else. From hearing that from Twilight, and from her other aunt, Rarity, she didn't say too much to Rarity that she was in love with her son, except that she was just very like some pony, but was afraid of telling him about this. And Rarity just said to her, be honest. Listen to your heart. That is what is going to happen. But Radar had told Rarity that the pony she likes has his special song pony already. Oh, well, in that case, maybe you should at least tell him how you feel. Even they were not affect of friendship or his relationship with his girlfriend. But Radar didn't want to tell. And even Rarity asked who the pony was. Radar said, I can't tell. I'm sorry, I can't tell. And from all these moments, sometimes Radar just walked around or floating in the sky by herself, could see Dido often maybe alone in the park, then trying to maybe decide to go down, but then he could see his girlfriend is coming up from the road, and then stops and flies away. She wants to tell Dido how she feels for him. Even it hurts her heart and hurts her own feelings that maybe he doesn't like her the same way back. She wanted to tell him someday, maybe it's not tomorrow, next day, or maybe next week or something, but she wanted to tell him. But how could she do it without the risk of hurting his friendship with her, or something much worse between his current relationship? Even some of Radar's friends had told her that she should at least tell that special pony that she likes how much her feelings is strong for him. But Radar often said that she couldn't, because they're afraid of to lose the friendship they had with it. And that was even to lose her friendship with Dido would hurt her more than anything else in the entire world. Even losing Dido as a friend would hurt her more than anything else. But what else can I just say from Radar's case? She often said to her friends, I can't tell. I can't. I don't want to risk our friendship. And for the next couple of months afterwards, Dido wanted to tell, but at the same time, her heart says to her, tell, tell, but her mind is cautious, says, don't tell, don't tell. So there was like a emotional conflict inside her. Even her friends often tell her, tell him, tell him, tell him how you feel. It's sometimes worth the risk. And even her friends or family often tell her the same thing over and over. But now had Radar totally stopped telling her friends and family about the case. Because she would not want that same answer back over and over. This time she wanted to make it her own time, to take her time to tell him how she feels. But one day it turned into something else. Because one day when she was flying in the sky, she saw Dido with his girlfriend in the park. But she could see that they were talking, but then she heard, and a voice strong from Dido, but why would you do this? Why would you break up with us? I thought it was working good between us. But all she could hear from his girlfriend was, I'm sorry, but this is not working. I know you love me so much, but I can't stand you. I can't stand this. You're always away in the Wranglers lands by your father, so after a few days and a couple of weeks. Yeah, but I want to spend some time with my new grandparents. I haven't even known they existed until a few months ago. I'm sorry, Dido, but it's over between us, and I had to say that I found some other pony else. And that broke Dido's heart. Please don't do it. I'm sorry, it is too late. And she walked away. Dido just stood there and ran back home. Radar was more surprised to hearing that Dido's girlfriend just broke up with him because he wanted to spend some time with his own grandparents after some short period of time. And after that day, Radar didn't see Dido for days. She started to wonder if he was okay, but she hasn't heard that he hasn't even left, or if he has anything. So she went to Rarity's boutique just to see if Dido was okay. And it was actually Spike who opened the door. Oh, Dido, Radar, what are you doing here? I'm to see if Dido's okay. I saw him quite sad a few days ago. Oh, about that, yeah, he hasn't left his room for days. You're getting worried about this. Maybe you can talk to him. Sure, I think so. If you'd like to talk to me anyways. So Radar went up to Dino's room, and he let her in. And after a while, even Rarity and Spike was quite nervous, even worried if Dino was just telling Radar just to leave. But suddenly, Radar came down from the stairs with Dino, and they just left without saying a word. But from that moment, Spike and Rarity felt at least relief that Dido had someone to talk to. Even he doesn't want to talk to his parents about romantic emotions. So Radar took Dido to the park just to relax. So she made ice cream appear in the middle of nowhere. And after a while they became very much good friends and very close friends. But most of the time when they spent together, even Dido started to become even more close friends with each other. And then one day Dido even asked Radar if he would like to maybe go out dancing with him tonight. And he was prepared that she wouldn't say that he wasn't into dancing with him, but surprised enough for him that she said, yeah, sure, I like that. So they went to this local dance club, And just a short time afterwards, Dido and Radar was actually now a couple. And Luke was looking forward pride enough for Dido because over time they had a very good, from good friends to a couple, very much strong feelings for each other. And Dido, he was more than happier than ever in his life. Even happier than when he had his first girlfriend was. But then when she broke up with him, he was a bit lost in his world. But until Radar told him about her feelings for him, and then that was the moment when he asked her out. And then a few days and some time afterwards, they were dating. Everything was looking bright, much bright for both Radar and Dido. But then something happened. One day they had a big fight. This fight lasted for almost hours. They tried to talk about something that doesn't make sense for any pony at all. So Dido said, I'm through with this. I'm sorry, Radar, but I'm through about this. I'm sorry. I'm leaving you. And the next day, Dido left Ponyville to return to Dragonstance to be with his grandparents. And Radar, she was actually very much heartbroken. She was devastated. She thought Dido was his special song pony that she has been looking for. She couldn't stop crying in her room, and she barely eats. She didn't even left her room for 2 whole weeks, and her parents tried to make talk to her. Even Discord tried to talk to her, but every time we tried to go into her room, she had protected her room with some spell. Even Discord even could bring up to open. The first time when he entered her room, it was like a big darkness, a void in her room. It was like the bed was floating in deep space with lightning everywhere. When Disco tried to talk to her, Radar, please talk to me. At least talk to your mother about this. But she always said, no, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you or any other ponies. Leave. Then the lightning and then a big push. And something pushed Discord out of her room, and the lock and this spell prevented even Discord to even enter her room. At the same time in Triangle's lands, Dido was also very much heartbroken, but he couldn't stop thinking about Radar because she had actually made so much great feelings for him. So after those 2 weeks, he realized what he did and told Radar about that day was very much something that he'd regret. So he went back home. Even Radar and realized all this fighting with Dido was just over nonsense. She also regretted. So she went up to Rarity's boutique to even see if he was home, because she had heard that he had returned back home. And even Discord was now seemed impressed that his own daughter had left his house to see Dido. But Dido even was looking for Radar, and then they said, "Oh, Dido, oh, Radar, I wanted to tell, yeah, I'm sorry, you want to say, I'm, you go first," said Dido. "I'm sorry, Radar, Dido, I'm sorry about this." "I'm sorry too, Radar, I'm just sorry, I felt guilty and I feel like I act like a fool. I'm an idiot. Why would I do something like this to you? You have been so kind to me, even more kind than my old girlfriend before. And I realized you are my true love. And I just, I want to be there for you. And will you marry me? Radar took as a big surprise that Dido had actually proposed to her right there at the moment. And what else could Radar say to Dido and then rather than just, yes, I want to marry you. And then they actually told their parents about this. And this was something that they wasn't even prepared for. Rarity was more than shocked, and Spike, he was more than happier than everyone else. He actually fainted at least twice when he was told about this, but he was still happy for Radar and Dido. And when Terry was told about this, he just said to Dido, "Welcome to family, Dido. Welcome to family." And this wedding was actually lasted for about 2 months later, and they even celebrated the honeymoon at Las Pegasus for 3 weeks. It's even after the wedding they had a small fight about, but this time it was about how many children they want to have. Dido said, "I would like to have at least 10 children." "Are you crazy?" said Radar back. "I at least want at least 5, not 10. Well, well, 5 would be enough for me as well," said Dido. And just surprised enough, just a year later on, Radar gave birth to 5 daughters, and Dido was more surprised that they had 5 daughters at once. And their families as very big, much surprised. Dido, Discord, and Spike, all of them fainted, and they didn't regain consciousness for at least almost 10 hours. Even their wives tried to wake them up. The one almost who was, but Galaxy Star, Rice Sparks, and Rarity, they all were much happy to be grandmothers. And how did even Dido react otherwise when he was told that he had 5 daughters? Well, he was more surprised enough to be a father to his 5 daughters. At first, he thought it was like a dream, but when he woke up after the almost 10 hours of fainting, he saw his daughters at Radar's arms, and then he cried. He had never been more happier to be a father to 5 daughters, or even just of 1 or 2 children, but 5. It was that something that they both want to have, but they would not expect to have 5 daughters or at least 5 children at once. But they were more happier to be parents. And how about the next few years? Well, it was a little bit more chaotic than they expected, since their daughters was more half pony, dragon, and draconicus, and even had inherited their mother's chaotic powers from their grandfather. Well, it was more chaos in their home than it has been before in the entire question. Even Discord had to step in from time to time just to look after the children, since he know how to control the chaotic powers. But he often told his granddaughters, "Stop doing that. Put it down, put it down, put the couch down, put the table down, and don't turn your own sister into that. Turn them back right now." But when they were about 10 years old, they had started to learn and respect their parents, even they sometimes doing their pranks or sometimes disobey their parents' rules. They often then, if they disobey the rules, they get grounded. But they realized they could use their powers to help other ponies. So 3 of the daughters actually became teachers. And and the two others, they became actually doctors in Canterlot and Manhattan. And all their parents, each of these daughters became married and had at least five daughters of their no, at least three children of each other. And that was a big family, even for Radar and Dido. And how would Radar and Dido react to have 15 grandchildren? It was something that they never expect to have, and especially for Red Sparks and Discord to have 15 great grandchildren. Was more than even they surprised enough to have. And even Dino's grandparents was more happy to have so many grandchildren as well. Even the Radar and Dino was more happy to have five daughters and 15 grandchildren. And even they were half a power, almost half a dragon, Draconicus, and an alicorn, it was something more, or a centaur, and even though their love for each other remained strong over the years, even though many opponents have thought they would never last that long, or would even get married, but they proved all the other opponents much wrong about it. What happened later on? Well, they remained strong together as a family, even if there had been some major danger or some danger to Equestria. They always be there to help their family and friends just keep their own family and everyone else in safe. And that's how Radar and Dido found the true love and got a big family. The end.